Washingtondan Amerika ovozi namoyish etadi. Shu kunning eng dolzarb mavzulari: Markaziy Osiyo, xalqaro hamjamiyat, Amerika xalqi va hayoti, siyosiy, ijtimoiy va madaniy yangiliklar. Bularning hammasi bizning kundalik radio dasturlarimizda va haftalik Amerika manzaralari ko'rsatuvida, shuningdek internetdagi sahifamizda. Amerika ovozi xolis, tezkor va ishonchli axborot manbai.
Well, thank you so much for being here, for being available to talk to us. You've been to the region recently, you've been to Uzbekistan, you've been to Turkmenistan. With the situation as it is in the region now, how would you describe the role that the U.S. is playing in Central Asia? And also, what is the current level of engagement with the government of Uzbekistan?
Yes, I recently traveled throughout all the countries that I call in my parish, which includes, in addition to Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan. And I was most recently in Turkmenistan. We, as the United States, are supporting the sovereignty and the territorial integrity and the independence of each of these republics, and that we are developing a relationship both between our governments as well as between our societies, the American society and the societies in each of these countries, which are developing at their own rate, at their own pace, and in their own relationship with the United States. But always the United States develops a relationship with each country based upon fundamental principles of mutual respect and respect for their independence and for their sovereignty, and that we seek a partnership to be able to discuss a wide range of issues and to develop a relationship that is involved in economic relations and trade relations, as well as in a security relationship, as well as in the relationship of how our governments govern, and issues of human rights and the growth of civil society in each of these countries and each of these societies in Central Asia.
And specifically in Uzbekistan?
And in Uzbekistan as well. When I was there, I had meetings with representatives of the government. Of course, with the foreign minister, I had an extensive conversation at the National Security Council of Uzbekistan, but also I participated in a roundtable with representatives of various civil organizations, and also met with individuals like Mrs. Tojibayeva, who had been recently released from prison, in order to basically get a wide view and as deep a view as I could in that period.
So you would confirm that the relationships are sort of warming up and that both sides are on the same page on some sensitive issues like democracy and human rights?
Well, we are engaging both sides on all of these areas, in our security relationship, in our economic relationship, and in our dialogue on issues of religious freedom, human rights, and things of this nature. And I think this is very encouraging because, and it is a step-by-step approach since the days after the Andijan incidents that had taken place in the which was, I think, a very low point in relations between the United States and Uzbekistan. But since then, I think we are establishing and reestablishing a dialogue with the authorities in Uzbekistan at the highest level, as well as always maintaining our relationship with the people of Uzbekistan.
Well, many in the region seem to doubt the intentions of America. When what we hear very often from Central Asia, from Uzbekistan, from Kazakhstan, and other neighboring countries is that, well, they say that, well, U.S. isn't really concerned about what we want. They want our gas and oil. They want our military bases. How would you respond to that kind of criticism?
Well, what the United States wants is a well-developed relationship with each of these countries, and as I said, a relationship with the governments of these countries, but also with the peoples of these countries, and that it's broad-based. It's not simply oil and gas. It's not simply human rights. It's not simply the security situation insofar as if we're talking about Uzbekistan, the situation in Afghanistan. we have a broad-based relationship with Uzbekistan, as with each of these countries in Central Asia. And we try to work in each of these areas at the same time, as much as we can. And so we have a dialogue on human rights, and we may have disagreements, but again, that's part of a relationship between countries, is just the nature. And I think that the atmosphere of our discussions have improved considerably, that we can sit down and talk about these things and try to find ways to work together. We find that there have been certain steps that the Uzbekistan government has taken in the area of human rights. They've allowed the International Red Cross to enter and to visit the prisons in Uzbekistan. They released some prisoners of concern, like Mrs. Tojibayeva that I had mentioned, as well as they have passed postanovlenia orders to enforce the legislation about the child labor. Naturally, these are good steps, and we applaud them. And we also wish to see and encourage Uzbekistan to implement further and to go further in these steps in a way of, it's not for the interests of the United States, but it's for the interests of Uzbekistan itself that these advances are important. And in the economic sphere as well, that there would be a way that Uzbekistan can increase its attractiveness to foreign investment, including American investment, transparency in laws, dealing with corruption issues. I mean, these are always issues that we have to deal with. I mean, there are issues in our own country we deal with. But with Uzbekistan, I think we look for a constructive approach.